It is Friday, September 23rd, 2011. This is InfoWars Nightly News. And I don't know, this thing's probably going to be 2 hours long tonight. So if you're looking for an info babe who's got collagen injections in her lips or some disinfo agent reading off a teleprompter, I'm here to tell you, you got the wrong place. This operation here at Infowars.com is so dedicated to liberty that I had to turn back some of the news today. The crew is so energized, so hardworking. The amount of research, I can't even get up here and do justice to what's coming up. Peter Dell Scott on government drug dealing and more. We've got in studio the maker of American Dream exposing the banking cartel, Tad Lumpkin. We have got on-site reporting from Darren McBreen and Aaron Dykes, who are in Colorado with a huge martial law drill. That's coming up first in a moment. We've got this cancer story that is just so jam-packed, we're going to be lucky to even be able to get all this in tonight. So let's go ahead and launch into it right now. First off, Operation Mountain Guardian emergency response exercise. I found out about this yesterday afternoon, and I've missed all the big drills in Colorado. Over the years, I've learned that the biggest martial law drills are held in Denver. And we were not disappointed, complete with practicing to round up school kids and others and bring them to sports stadiums, all a exercise in federalization and the takeover of the community, over 100 agencies, police coming up and telling our crew to turn off their cameras. It was all compartmentalized in other areas. Our crew was able to get into a public school where they had even kids as young as 6 years old, first grade, going through this. And then, of course, the Catholic charities involved, taking folks there to the Denver NFL football stadium. Just amazing. And there's got to be like 30 different upload video reports that are at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv right now on this. I want to go ahead and go to one of those reports right now. Are we going to Aaron first or Darren McBreen? All right, here's Aaron Dykes reporting from Denver.
Now, we've been in the Denver metro area today covering a widespread martial law takeover drill within the city known as Operation Mountain Guardian. That operation is sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security. We saw earlier today a Mumbai-style attack at a suburban mall in the area. There was also a staged attack on a train and bus facility. Then later this morning, we witnessed a SWAT-style raid against an elementary school where they staged a shooting. And then what we learned there was that the children from that staged shooting were being relocated at the sports stadium you see directly behind me. We then investigated what was going on at the sports stadium and found in their own press releases admissions that they were planning to test the relocation processing of students and teachers during this drill. We were then tipped off by security personnel on this side of the stadium that indeed buses had brought children into the stadium, but no media or press was allowed inside. When we came around to the south end tunnel, we witnessed those buses as well as vehicles from the Denver Public School Safety and Security Department, including the supervisor. Following that, we spoke to a stage mother, a mock mother, who was here to pick up children from the facility, which led us to then talk to Denver Police Victims Response Unit head Scott Snow, the Victim Assistance Unit, and he told us that indeed the end goal of this exercise or any real event that might happen was to get the children to this stadium where the parents could then be reunified with them.
This kind of ties up as far as the whole goal of this Family Information Center is to give both parents a responding point, PIOs, public information, to stage out here. Additional information.
Okay, so this is pretty much it, though, like the end of the drill.
This is about done. In terms of drill or even real event, this is the goal is to get everybody here to reunify with parents or guardians.
Okay.
Just incredible events as we see more and more of a federalization of police and military and a total takeover of these metro areas in a fear-mongering panicking for a terrorism event. Alex, back to you.
Okay, great job, Aaron. As we go out to break in a little while and come back with our first in-studio guest, we're going to play a report from Darren McBreen, all filed and put together there on the ground. Amazing new technologies that are really empowering alternative and grassroots media. And again, that police officer there, nice guy, trying to be helpful, doing a drill to reunite children. Just so happens we broke the news 10 years ago that FEMA actually plans to take your children to sports stadiums and then make you come turn your guns in to get them back. And so it's all an exercise in the government basically taking people to a sports stadium, and the cover is children, but it's also training the police to take political dissidents to sports stadiums, as has been declassified in Rex 84 and other FEMA programs that we'll be talking about with Peter Dale Scott, an expert on COG, continuity of government and martial law, coming up. But for now, that's it for our coverage. This is just about federalization, drill, fear-mongering to create the perception that terrorism is this big threat. You've got a better chance of slipping on ice and dying, or dying in a car wreck, hundreds of times better chance of that, or being killed by bees or snake bite. And the bottom line is government can't and won't be able to protect you from the dangers that are out there in this world, whether it be carjackings or a lightning strike, whether it be man-made or good old Mother Nature. Now, we just got this news in the last hour or so, and Ron Paul, again, the Fox News geolocating one-time scientific polling system showed that Ron Paul got double the votes, right at double the votes of the other candidates. And we screenshotted this and pointed it out. But then, after Drudge Report linked to it, Fox News simply took down the poll. And so that's a whole new story. Mitt Romney got 22.89%, Perry 12.8%, Newt Gingrich 6.99%, Ron Paul 39.27%. So almost double. And as we keep seeing in all the other scientific polls and exit polls and straw polls, that's what we continue to see at all of these events, is that in every case, Ron Paul is getting about double, sometimes more than double. And when he won the NBC debate a few weeks ago, they just didn't report it. Said that Rick Perry had won it. And it just continues to happen. That's how scared they are to keep him from becoming the front runner. He really is the front runner. Ron Paul, I really disagree with him, but he said in the debate last night, he said, I'm now the third tier candidate. I mean, I'm now number 3, so I'm a top tier, but I'm in third place, and I want to be first place. Ron Paul won the New Hampshire straw poll. He came in second place at the Iowa straw poll. He's won all the debates. He won the California straw poll. He's raising more money than even the establishment candidates. He's getting 70+% of the military donations. And if they weren't running this hoax that he couldn't win, he would be the undisputed front runner. But regardless, he won CPAC poll 2 years in a row, and they dubbed in booing. Fox News did this year. So there you have it. They like these big government Republicans, Mitt Romney, and people like Rick Perry. Totally and absolutely disgusting. So Fox News poll, Ron Paul wins, Orlando debate, and then Fox News poll is pulled, showing Ron Paul debate victory, and Fox News claims that Mitt Romney has won. But thank God the Drudge Report, Matt Drudge, is bucking the rhinos and exposing that. But that's about it. Fox News is still sitting there suckering their viewers. Now, you know that Big Sis came out and criticized the alternative media 2 weeks ago and said, stop calling her Big Sis, stop calling her a, what was the term she used, an ogre? Nobody's calling you an ogre. We're calling you Mr. Napolitano. And she is a police state thug, but she's just a front person, a puppet at the end of the day. But now showing the fact that they're bowing to pressure, I mean, she wouldn't be whining to Politico if they weren't. A petition to abolish TSA appears at White House website. And we confirmed this. I checked it 3 times. It is whitehouse.gov. And they say abolish the TSA and use the monstrous budget to fund more sophisticated, less intrusive counterterrorism intelligence. Now, I'd love to believe this is them capitulating, and it is to a certain extent, but they've always planned to put a bunch of biometric face scanning, trusted traveler stuff in place. That's why they're grabbing your genitals now, so you'll accept the national ID card, internal passport to travel. But this has backfired on them so bad that now they want to go ahead and start moving towards the Big Brother system now. So that's certainly important news. Now I want to get to the most important story of the night. And you notice all week we've been covering this. We've been talking about vaccines. We've had multiple medical doctors on, Andrew Wakefield, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and others, to go over the fact this is a premeditated eugenics operation to implant the population with soft kill cancer viruses, amongst other programs, including reduced fertility and outright sterilization. And I'm going to play a video clip coming up in a few minutes of one of the top Merck scientists, one of the co-developers of some of the most famous vaccines out there, from a PBS documentary produced in Boston, where he had the full interview is online. We're actually sending off to the station to get the original. I saw this more than a decade ago, but now it's on the internet, cut up in lots of different pieces. We're going to play one of those here. But this is one of the top vaccine developers. Earlier, he admits that AIDS came from monkeys that they use the kidneys for. But that's not even in this report. We'll do that next week. Just the government created AIDS. Ha ha ha. It's in the vaccines. But then he goes on and says, we found out there was cancer viruses that cause leukemia in the vaccines and all these others. Now we don't need him to laugh, and he's since died. This interview was done more than a decade ago. Laugh about it to know that this is true. I have New Scientist, the rest of it, admitting this. But that's why breast cancer has tripled since 1980. That's why, in general, most types of cancers have doubled in the last decade. So most of that growth is just in the last 10 years. That's why we're having all these autoimmune responses in the pancreas and the brain, and the increase of autism, and, of course, things like diabetes. I mean, here's the UK government with UN numbers breaking it down. You notice that the most vaccinated countries in the world are Australia, New Zealand, and North America, and they have the highest cancer rates in the world. And then right beneath that, Europe is a close third behind the Britannic nations. That's really what the U.S., Canada, England, Australia, New Zealand are, as globalist commonwealths. In fact, let's replay that again. I want people to see this map. And again, notice, and you can go check the numbers. The highest vaccination